What's up guys, my name is Sanjay and welcome to the Gentleman's Plate. There's a new trend on TikTok and it's officially Michelada season. That's right, Michelada bombs or michebombs are trending and they're here to stay. So of course I decided to make some myself. But first, a special thanks to TikTok creator Pika Kids who showed us their recipe, which is linked below. Today I'm making my own version of this recipe, so let's begin.
First, you'll need 1 tablespoon of citric acid. This is commonly used for pickling and will be in your big box store next to the mason jars. Otherwise, I'll make sure to add an Amazon link down below. Followed by 1 tablespoon of baking soda. That's baking soda, not powder, remember. Soda spills, powder puffs. Basically, the baking soda and citric acid is going to help create the fizz and also help the bomb break apart, basically. To add more sourness and flavor, I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of tamarindo agua fresca powder. This is basically like Mexican Kool-Aid. And to add an extra punch of sourness, we're going to use Lucas powder. It's basically like a Mexican candy. It's a powdered candy that you would use, you could just eat it straight up. You can put it on fruit. But here I'm going to put 2 tablespoons to give it an extra punch with the beer. The one bottle is just slightly under 2 tablespoons, so you'll have to get another bottle. Luckily, they come in a package like this for like $3. You get a ton of them. The one interesting thing that I forgot to show you is that these bottles have these weird little nipples, I don't know what you want to call them, but you have to kind of break them open. So be careful of that. And of course, the star of the show is tahini. If you've never had tahini, it is the best condiment. It goes great with fruit and everything. But we're going to use a 1/4 cup of tahini for this recipe here. Now, traditionally, you would add a hot sauce and maybe some soy sauce or Worcestershire sauce. I'm using this Tabasco scorpion sauce because I like it spicy. Just a few dabs would do. And then, of course, chamoy. If you don't know about chamoy, it is basically a sour plum sauce. You're just going to use a few drops for now. We don't want it to be too wet. So initially I'm using this rice paddle because I just want to break up all the clumps and get all the drops of the hot sauce and chamoy incorporated. I'm just going to kind of lift and separate it basically. And we're looking for a sandy texture, a sandy kind of clumpy texture. So we're going to add a few more drops of chamoy as we go. Again, we don't want to go too much because if it's too wet, it's going to fall apart. And if it's too dry, it's going to fall apart. So we're switching tools now. We're going to go ahead and put some gloves on because I really want to feel the mixture here. As you can see, it is not quite there yet. Maybe a little bit more hot sauce, a little more chamoy. Now I think we're getting closer. Okay, it's holding its shape, so that's a good sign. And then you want to just keep working it until everything is properly hydrated. Still a little crumbly, so I'm adding a little bit more chamoy. Again, you want to be gentle with the chamoy there. Okay, so you'll know it's reached its consistency when you kind of feel like it's semi-solid. It's okay, it moves around your hand without falling apart. Now, as far as our molds, you basically want to pick something that has a 1 tablespoon allowance here. These ice trays work great because they're easy to pop out and they're deep. I've got these trays from Rosanna Pansino, which are kind of cool shaped. And then there are these ice trays from IKEA, but I think I'm just going to go with the Rosanna one. And if you don't have a special silicone tray, you could just really use a 1 tablespoon measure and you can mold your shape in here, pop it out, and then, you know, you've got a perfectly round shape there too. Now, to begin, we're just going to add a little bit of stuffing at first, just to get the base coat down. And you really want to push in and make sure it's completely packed down tight. Now, in Pika Kid's original video, she suggested stuffing them with these pulparindo candies. I actually found these tamarind candies, which I think were better because they're already soaked in chili and lime as well. And these hot cherry candies, I thought they'd be kind of fun because they're the perfect size and they've got some of that spiciness on them as well. Here's the tamarind candy up close. It's a little large, but I guess it will work because my molds are a little deep. So just want to stick them in the middle and shove them in there nice and tight. Make sure they're not going anywhere. And then you're going to go back on top and add more of your shell coating here. Again, as you're putting it on, I can't stress enough, it has to be very tight, okay? You want to pack it down as tight as possible. This is what's going to prevent it from falling apart later. And I had to actually get rid of the gloves at some point because it was way too hard to do this with gloves. But you want to go back in and clean out the edges and make sure that it's super tight in there. Now for our second batch, we're going to repeat the process. Make sure the base is nice and tight, and we're going to put one of our cherry candies in each cavity. Of course, we're making sure it's nice and tight on top as well. And because this is a square shape, I'm paying extra attention to the corners, okay? Because I don't want them to come out and start falling apart on the corners. So there you have it, guys. These are ready for the freezer. We want to freeze them for a minimum of 1 to 2 hours. Of course, the longer the better, because we want them to be as hard as possible so that when we pull them out, they don't crumble. Now, when you take them out of the fridge, you want to be very careful as you pop them out. This is why we use silicone mold. But unfortunately, because of the type of mold I use, there's still a lot of fallout. As you can see, it was a little harder to do. And if they're still pliable, if they're not too hard, you want to go and smooth out any edges you can with your fingers. I think next time I'm going to use the ice cube tray, because look at all this fallout, guys. This is not okay. I think this ice cube tray would be better because it's deeper so that the rock candies will stay in there in the middle, and they've got the silicone at the bottom as well. But otherwise, there you have it, guys. These look great. My gosh, I am so excited to drink this. So you're going to go ahead and rim your cup with some chamoy and a little bit of tahini. Get all those edges, and the lime is optional. We already have citric acid in there, but this is a nice touch. This is tamaroka. This is basically another tamarind candy and a straw. It's gonna be your swizzle stick here, and of course your beer. I'm using Pacifico, but you can use Dos Equis, you can use Corona, you know, whatever beer of your choice, as long as it's a light beer. You'll notice here I'm not filling it all the way either. Just a spritz of lime juice, optional again, and here we go. Look at that fizz, guys. That's amazing. A little bit of a time lapse here. You can see it does take a few minutes for it to completely dissolve, but as it's dissolving, it's throwing up that beautiful tahini and that Lucas. All that tamarind flavor is in there. Now this is the point where you'd add clamato, but because I'm vegan, I'm adding V8 vegetable juice. And then you want to top it off with a little bit more beer, your tamaroka stick, and a lime wedge. Now you can see in the course in a few minutes, the michebomb has basically dissolved. That's amazing.
Alright guys, and there you have it. It's that easy. So let's go ahead and give this a try. Wow. It's really good. Wow. Salty. It's sweet. It's sour. Looks like the michebomb has officially disintegrated. Make this for your next socially distant get-together. Whatever you do, you have to try this, guys. This is delicious. I can't stop drinking it. Cheers.